Mornings. Porch Podcast. Hey, giving the glory to God.
That music news.
Yeah, so Disciple had their latest album, Love Letter Kill Shot, released this past week.
Yeah, so let's talk about this Love Letter Kill Shot. It released on Friday, the 13th?
Yes.
February 13th?
Yeah, which was kind of cool.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, yeah.
My holiday.
Your holiday?
No, Josiah, you listen to any Disciple, do you know who they are?
Not at all.
Okay, my bad, man. You're probably going to miss out on this. Well, you know who NF is, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they have a song on the album called Misery.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just kind of look at some of the words of Misery, right? It says, I don't want help. I don't want to get better. All I want is your sympathy. Can't stop myself. Can't keep it together because I'm in love with this misery. Don't try to tell me it's all for something. Don't try to tell me scars weren't part of the plan. Don't try to tell me I'm more than nothing. I found a comfort in being the victim. Look in my eyes. Do I seem fine? I'm not all right. I'm so far from all right. I don't want help. I don't want to get better. All I want is your sympathy. Can't stop myself. Can't keep it together because I'm in love with this misery. I'll do the motions you seek. I'll pray the words that you speak, but you won't get to this heart locked inside of me. I don't want your help. I don't want to get better because I'm in love with this misery. Would you pay any attention to me without the drama of hashtag so depressed? Don't try to take my excuses from me because victims get a free license to put you through hell. Look in my eyes. There is no disguise. I'm not all right. I'm beginning to believe the lies. Yeah. I don't want help. I don't want to get better. All I want is your sympathy. And it just kind of keeps going on. Yeah, that's the song.
You know, the thing is that, you know, honestly, when I heard this track, I thought of somebody specific to me that's not famous. But
there's one of these in every church, by the way. Every church has one of these folks.
Well, but and I think that the case for me is that the person that I thought of was someone that does actually legitimately struggle with depression,
right,
and still does some of this stuff as well for attention, but doesn't understand that that's what's taking place. It's sort of like a subconscious kind of thing, and. You know, so I initially saw this track different, but you took it to...
I took it to NF, because I was like...
Yeah.
Does that sound like an NF
it
career?
So Disciple made an NF diss track. Is that what you're saying?
Did Disciple make an NF diss track?
You're questioning.
That's the question. You know, even a buddy of mine was like, yeah, I actually laughed after, because I said it. He went and listened to it. Then he was like, yeah, I kind of laughed at the end of it because it, you know, kind of reminded me a little bit of how NF is. Because, you know, and I heard somebody, or there was somebody on Instagram when I posted the question, they said, nah, I really don't think so, because NF always, you know, he flips it at the end and talks about, you know, getting out of it. I'm like, no, he doesn't.
So is this band known for doing stuff like that? Are they...
Who, Disciple?
Yeah.
Sean would know, but I know they had a song called, they had a song called Backstabber one time that felt like a shot at somebody.
Yeah. I would say that there's been a couple tracks where you could probably have said, yeah, there might be a little something there, but not overtly.
Right.
So, you know, it still could have been a much more general thing. You know, to me, it's almost like, you know, when the pastor's preaching and you're thinking, honey, you've been talking to the preacher again because he's talking about us right now, right? You know,
right. I mean, he was very. I mean, they were very generic in general. I think a lot of people, like Sean said, and like I said earlier, I think every church has one person who almost enjoys being in the misery and really does not want help, because they enjoy the attention they get from it. People reach out to them all the time. They message them, text them, call them. Hey, how you doing? And they're like, oh, just going through, you know. And it's like, you know, if there was a clear-cut solution to it, would they want it?
Got you. Right.
And I think that's kind of the question now. You know, I'm not saying people enjoy misery, but I think some people might enjoy attention that they get in response to their misery.
I agree.
And that's kind of the question I think behind this song.
Well, and I think, though, that there's still some legitimacy there, though. I think that there are folks that do struggle legitimately and don't know how else to get any attention to be able to pull themselves up out of that depression. You know, so it's like the only thing I know to do is to do this. It's like the child that's, you know, trying to get attention, so he misbehaves at school. Well, that's the only way I know how to get any attention. It's bad attention, but I'm still getting attention. You know, so, you know, I think that there are some folks that kind of live in this gray zone here where it's like, I don't even know, you know, you're telling me that I'm misbehaving, but I don't even know what's, you know, how is that? How does that apply to this?
Like, coincidentally, it is Mental Awareness Health Month.
See, there you go.
So, but in general, though,
Anyway.
Sean, what were your thoughts on the album?
Okay, so you know, I would say that this is definitely one of their better albums. There have been some that I was like, about. This is a very solid album in a general sense. Now, to get more specific here, there are two absolute standout tracks on this album, and they were two tracks that they pre-released even.
Right.
And
It wasn't the first one they released.
definitely not their first one. But the problem is that these two tracks set the bar so high, and one in particular sets it so high, and in sort of a different feel.
It's almost a different genre.
Right. So this album doesn't feel connected. I mean, overall, it's good in terms of the music in general,
Right.
But in terms of it feeling like a cohesive project, not so much.
It almost felt like Panic Room was a Project 86 song
Yeah.
that was put on a Disciple album.
Yeah, I agree. So Panic Room and Reanimate are the two standout tracks. And Andrew Schwab on Panic Room lends some really killer vocals to it. Allows Kevin to go a little bit in the higher range, which he's definitely comfortable with, but you know he's got diversity to him, as he proves on Reanimate. But when you've got those two tracks, they're just super hardcore. And I'd say hardcore. They're not hardcore, but really hard, heavy tracks, and especially Panic Room, which is just like crazy, insane, creative. And then, you know, you go to things like Play to Win and, you know, Wake Up, which are decent tracks. Misery, which is still a decent track. You're kind of like let down because you got Panic Room and Reanimate.
If you want Panic Room and Reanimate, the other song.
Then yeah.
And see, I just, you know, and I mean,
And again, I like the rest of the tracks. I really do. I just don't like them together.
you wanted a full album of Panic Room.
Well,
And Reanimate.
either I want a full album
okay.
of Reanimate and Panic Room to where it feels like it's a cohesive album, or I want a full album of Wake Up and Misery. You know, those tracks are still kind of reasonably hard. Chemical
Right.
Wisdom is too, and so it feels like, you know, that would be a whole separate project.
Right.
You know,
Gotcha.
and Disciple's always been really good about having a good mellow soft rock track in there somewhere in there, kind of even a preachy kind of love song sort of thing, and I'm totally down with that, especially if we're talking about a more mellow album, where like Chemical Wisdom would you know dominate on that album.
Right.
So then I'd be okay with that. But you can't do Project 86 style music. You can't melt my face off and then come back down to best thing ever or walk
You know what
with
happened?
me.
You got catfished.
Yeah.
You got musically catfished.
Yeah.
Is what you got.
Yeah, I did. But
So you go on the date, and then after the date, you go back and you look at the picture you saw.
and you go, oh my goodness, Cuff the Criminal? Where did that come from? What was I thinking?
I think on it, to me, it was a solid album. I enjoyed most of the album. I'm okay with the half hard, half soft
it wasn't
kind
half.
of stuff.
wasn't
No.
half.
I'm saying like the songs that were like kind of a little 50-50, like they had some heaviness to them and some softness to them.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because
And in
of
general,
that-
I am too.
and because of that, to me, this album is good. It's probably, you know, I would say Scars Remain and their self-titled album, to me, ranked top 2.
Yeah.
This may be 3 or 4
Okay.
of all
right on.
Disciple albums. Now, I haven't heard their early stuff.
Well,
so,
and you have to judge it based on, you know, background of the time. So
how many issues are you giving this 1 out of 5?
I don't think I could do that. I really can't. Hey, here's the thing. I even bought the vinyl. I got the vinyl coming.
Oh,
So,
you do?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I'm still always a Disciple fan, and I'm still gonna listen to this album. I'm still gonna enjoy it, and I'm probably even gonna find some other favorites as time goes on. But just
Touch of
after,
pain.
huh?
Touch of pain.
Yeah, after just putting it on my playlist and just cruising through it day after day, it's just so hard for me to get past those 2 tracks and really be able to digest anything else. So.
Okay. Well, that's our review of Disciple, Love Letter, Kill
Quick
Shot.
question. So for a person
Yes.
like me who's never heard any Disciple music, should I go into this album or is there another album I should listen to first?
Ooh.
Because I'm interested now.
Question.
See, I don't know if you're a fan. Okay, so if you're a fan of heavy rock, I would probably say this wouldn't be the first album to go to. Maybe,
Okay.
maybe their song "Panic Room." You might enjoy that. But if you just kind of want some like Skillet type of stuff, Skillet, maybe Thousand Foot Crutch.
I love Thousand Foot Crutch.
Then you could handle this album or
Okay.
this album.
Well,
Would
then
you agree?
you'd probably like Huff the Criminal.
Okay.
Yeah, and in general,
really
this
doesn't
album,
like Huff
well, anyway, but yeah, you'd probably be okay with this album then. Then it has that newer feel to it. I mean, Southern Hospitality obviously has more of a Southern rock kind of feel to it. The early stuff like By God has got sort of a rap rock kind of feel to it. So they've had an evolution of change throughout the years, in developing their style and sound. So they've never just remained the same.
That's true, and nothing else matters.